Welcome to the very first ever episode of my knitting podcast. My name's Emily, and I was feeling a little bit inspired today, so I thought that I would hit record and see what happens. I've been knitting for about 2 years seriously, but for a number of years before that as well. I knit my first garment about 2 years ago, I think, and ever since then I've been completely obsessed. So here we are. So I wanted to talk about some of my recently finished objects today, some of my whips, and some of my future plans as well, as we're heading into, well, it would be very hopeful of me to say we're heading out of winter soon. I live in Ottawa, Canada, and we are in deep winter. I think it's about minus 15 degrees Celsius out today. So I won't say we're moving out of winter, but as we're moving into late stage winter. So let's get into it. My first finished object that I want to talk about today is my Cambray wrap. This is a free pattern by Two of Wands. And I knit this on, sorry, I'm checking my notes here. I knit this on 6.5mm needles. So this I cast on in December, I think late December, around Christmas time, and I cast this off in early January, so this was my first finished object of the year. This was a really fun knit. It didn't take too long considering its size. The nice big needles definitely helped with that. It's like a pretty rustic wool that I've used. I actually bought this wool from Hobby Lobby before I knew much about Hobby Lobby. I have decided I will no longer be supporting Hobby Lobby, but this, I bought the yarn. I'm going to use it. And I didn't know if I would be a shawl girly before I cast this on, but now that I've finished it, I love it. I use it all the time. It might be one of my most used knits already. It's for sure one of my most practical. I've used it as a scarf. Most of the time I just wear it around the house, like a Victorian woman, carrying an oil lamp or a candlestick in one of those little whatever. But yeah, I really enjoy it. It was fun. It's very useful to have, and it's a great size. It is longer than my body, so that's great. It makes it very easy to wrap up. And yeah, I really like it. Use it all the time. Highly recommend. Oh, another thing about this pattern is it calls for tassels at the end of each point, so the two ends and then the back triangle. I decided not to knit the tassels. I think it's already pretty like weighty as is, and I didn't want them to like stretch out the ends, especially since it's knit at a pretty loose gauge. So I opted to omit them. I'm pretty happy with that decision. But I think they'd be fun to try. I've knit another one of Two of Wands patterns, the Moonstone plaid blanket, and I really like a lot of the little finishes that they do. It's very different from like their techniques you don't use all the time. So I like doing a lot of those types of things. So who knows, maybe one day I'll add the tassels, but for now I'm pretty happy with this the way it is. My next finished object is what I'm actually wearing. I cast this off yesterday, so I haven't blocked it yet, but I did weave in all my ends immediately. So we can all feel good about that. So this is the Harlow Sweater V-neck by Koigu, and I knit this on 4.5mm needles out of Concept by Katia, Cotton-Merino, Tweed. I think that's what it's called. I'll put it here. The video's flipped, so this is very confusing for me. I'll put it here. So yeah, I really love the yarn. I don't know how well this will focus. It's my computer's webcam. We're really working on a budget here, folks. This is like a blown yarn, so it's merino, cotton, and I think some polyamide in there. And it's like a chainette style tube with merino fibers blown through it. We've all seen these types of yarns before. But what I really like about this one is that it's got all these flecks of yeah, the lighting's not super great. But there's flecks of like a darker brown, pink, there's some orange in there. So I really like it. It's another brown sweater to add to my collection of brown sweaters, which I am decidedly moving on from in 2025. One of the things that I really like about this sweater is the I-cord detail along the back. So that was fun. It was a bit of slog to knit, and 100+ centimeter long I-cord. Can that be right? No, 100+ stitch I-cord. It's definitely not over a meter long. I'm questioning everything now. No, it's definitely not. But it's 100 and something stitches long. Oh my gosh. Rows. 100 something row long I-cord. That's what we're trying to say here. So took a bit of time. Definitely worth it for the finished look. I just think it's a nice detail on the back there. What made me want to knit this, I actually bought this yarn for a completely different purpose. I bought the yarn maybe a year ago now. I've had it forever, with the intention of knitting the November jacket by Petite Knit, I believe, which is the brioche cardigan with pockets. I started that. I will never finish it. I will never make the November jacket. It's not happening. It's too much knitting. I went through that's not right. I went through quite a few balls of that yarn on what I have started of the November jacket. It's like this big. There's no sleeves on it. I think I had just connected in the round, like under the arms, when I gave up on it. So it's still up there. I actually didn't have to frog any of what I had done so far to knit this entire sweater. So I don't really know what I'll do with the extra. I will frog it eventually, which might be a little bit annoying with like the fuzziness, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so for Christmas, I actually knit my mom. It was my first sweater gift knit. Feel really good about that. I'm going to be taking that all the way to the bank. My mom, I've told her she's had her Christmas, birthday, and like next Christmas gift is the sweater that I knit her. But I knit her a version of the Harlow sweater v-neck before I knit this one. And that one I knit out of, I don't even have a picture of it. Maybe if she sends me one, it'll be right here. If not, this looks weird for no reason. So I knit the version for my mom out of the Cotton-Merino by Juniper Moon Farms. I found that on sale at my local yarn shop in the color Chambray, I want to say. It's the light blue. It is possibly the most beautiful yarn I have ever used. It's like a little bit plumper than this, I would say. They're very, very similar. I think they're almost exactly the same meterage per 50 grams. But that one was just so fluffy and so soft. I really like this one too, but the version that I made my mom, because I didn't want to give it to my mom when it was done, is why I made one for myself. This is definitely a more me color. When I showed my husband, of course he really liked it and thought it was, really well done. If I do say so, if he does say so himself. But he was like, wow, another brown sweater with flecks of color in it. So that was okay, time to move on to something new and exciting, which I really do plan to do this year. So anyways, that is my Harlow sweater v-neck. I did 2x2 Italian bind-off for the first time. And I've seen it a few different ways, like just reordering all the stitches. What I did was actually put in 2 sets of knitting needles when I was ready to bind off. So one for the knits and one on the inside for the purls, if that makes sense. It's like a little bit more, maybe not even a little bit more setup, because you would have to reorder your stitches anyways, but it's maybe a little bit more fiddly since there's 2 sets of needles, but I really like that method. I think it was pretty easy to follow and pretty intuitive, so I didn't mind it, and I think it looks really nice. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. One other thing about this sweater, like I said, I have not blocked it yet, and you may notice that the sleeves are quite long. So I'm not really sure what to do about that. I will block it because the bottom's cinching in a little bit on the ribbing, and I don't want it to be. So maybe I'll try steam blocking it and see how that goes. But the heat of steam blocking does scare me. So I think what I will probably end up doing is just blocking it. And then if the sleeves end up way too long, like to where I can't even function, because they are also pretty wide, I might do some sweater surgery for the first time. I think that would actually be a lot easier and less work than like unpicking the bind off, going back, because I like the length of the ribbing too. So undoing all the ribbing back, and then redoing it all. So I'm at the point in my knitting journey where sweater surgery is easier, or seems easier, I should say. I haven't actually tried it yet. But sweater surgery seems easier than just undoing something. So I feel good about that. But that is my unblocked Harlow sweater that I'm very, very happy with. So those are my two recently finished objects. My knitting last year was pretty slow. I was in school and I just finished that up in December. So now I have way too much free time. I've just finished teacher's college actually, so I'm waiting for all my teaching certifications to be processed and whatever, so that I can start actually applying for jobs. So until then, I'm working part-time from home at my old office job, so I have nothing but time. So the knitting's really ramping up here. So speaking of what I'm currently doing, let's move on to my whips. So the first whip that I've been working on is the Stella Quilt Blanket by Laura Penrose. I love this pattern. So I have finished one square and I'm currently working on my second square. So I'll show you the first one. Oh my God, it looks so good. So when I started thinking about knitting this, I had it in my head that I wanted to use, like all sock yarn held double and all like superwash nylon kind of sock blends, and make it all, consistent. That's the word I'm trying to find here. Make it all consistent and make it like really beautiful and sort of perfect. And then I just kind of decided to go completely rogue. So most of these yarns are different. They're different gauges, they're different fiber contents, they're whatever. And I've just thrown any hope of being able to throw this blanket in the washing machine out the window. But I think I'm fine with that. So the main color here, you can probably tell by how much it's stretching, is knit at a pretty loose gauge. It's kind of a sport weight yarn. This is Juniper Moon Farms. Sorry, everything's covered in my hair. I don't know why. Juniper Moon Farms Patagonia Organic Merino. So it's a woolen. Oh my gosh. There we go. It's a woolen spun yarn. I think they call it a DK, but it's definitely like a sport weight, like heavy fingering light DK kind of thing. It's like a true sport weight. But what I'm thinking is, because it's woolen spun, it is so light. You get so much yardage in 100 grams. There's 350 meters per 100 grams, and I'm holding it single. So one of these is going to go way further than one skein of sock yarn held double. And what I'm thinking is, because it's woolen spun, it's going to really like fluff up and fill out when I block it. But even if it doesn't, I'm really happy with the way that it looks. And I like the different textures and the different weights. It's also going to keep the blanket a lot lighter. In my head, this blanket is going to be 12 squares total, so 3x4. I don't know if we'll get there in practice, because that is hugely ambitious. But if we do, I think the like little bit of weight that I'm saving by using this is going to be really nice. So this is my first square. Maybe I can talk about the individual yarns that I used. So these ones, sorry, this is not a great way to do this. Here we go. The variegated yarns, including this one, are all Koigu mini skeins from their paint cans. So they come in like a little plastic paint can, and it's like a coordinated set of 5 mini skeins. So these are from 2 separate paint cans that I like mixed and matched. And then these 2 are Debbie Bliss Rialto DK that I bought for a baby sweater that I knit for my friend, which is so cute, and maybe I'll post a picture of it someday. So those are actually DK weights. And then this one here is definitely thicker than the others. It's really dense, actually. And I had to kind of knit, like, the squares were very different sizes before I just shoved them together and knit them together. But this one is... this one is Ontario Sock by Alley Cat Yarns, which is based out of Ottawa, I believe, or around the Ottawa area. And it is a like locally grown and spun sock yarn, and I think the like strengthening agent in it is mohair, so it's all natural. It's a really cool yarn. I like it a lot. So that is my first square of my Celaquilt blanket, and let me just pull out my second one now. Okay, so I'm actually at a great point with this one. Ooh, that's a lot of ends. Still gotta weave those in, I forgot. I love this one. So this is the second square. You can see I definitely changed the vibe up for this one. So again, all of these variegated yarns, this one, and this one's really cool. These are all the Koigu paint can mini skeins again, held double. See if I can even remember this. This is a hand-dyed Alley Cat Yarns again mini skein that I got at Knit City Montreal last year. Oh, look at that memory. It's so good. And then this one is Sandnes Garn Sunday held double. I don't know what any of the colors are called. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, I really like this one. I'm gonna have to start working on this again. And if you want to see the nightmare of ends, there it is. Oh, it doesn't look that bad. Maybe I started. It doesn't look that bad, but it is a lot of ends to weave in, just a fair warning for this project. One thing I'm not sure about with this is what I'm going to do with the back. I don't think it looks bad on its own, but it definitely looks like the back. And with like the organic merino here, this one's like really sticky. The ends aren't going to come out. But a lot of the mini skeins that I'm using here are like a superwash or just a really smooth merino, so they're not staying tucked in really nicely. So I've had a thought that maybe I'll put like a backing on this when I'm done, which would completely counteract everything I just said about the lightness of this weight-wise. But I don't know, we'll see. That is so far away that I don't even need to consider it right now. I also have no idea how to sew. I don't have a sewing machine. I can't even like fix a hole in a shirt. So that's like just delusional and ambitious, but we'll see. I've done delusional and ambitious things before. So maybe it'll work out. I don't know. So my next whip is another blanket, which is weird. I don't really knit that many blankets. I've crocheted one. It is so hard to... That one. I crocheted that blanket, and it is shaped like a trapezoid. It is the only thing I've ever crocheted. I do really like it, though. I used that, like, velvet blanket yarn. I think the Bernat one. It's really nice, but we love her. She's funny looking, but we love her. But I mentioned this before. I knit the Moonstone plaid blanket, which is so beautiful and just such a cool, interesting design. Again, by Two of Wands. This one's also by Two of Wands. guess we're standing. We love her. That one I knit for a friend's housewarming when they bought their home last year. So I gifted that to them, and now I have another friend who has just bought their first home. So I will be continuing the tradition for the sake of equity. And this is what we have so far. This is the Harvest Throw. I'm knitting it out of Hue and Me by Lion Brand, which is the Two of Wands, like collab yarn. I think the color is Saffron, but I don't know. It's going to be here. It's all going to be right here. So this is what it looks like. The texture's really neat. It's like triangle. Yeah, it's like a chevron kind of zigzag vibe. So I think 2 pattern repeats in, or just about 2 pattern repeats in. And I really like the way it's looking. I really like this yarn too. It's soft and it's not like it doesn't feel super plasticky, even though I think it's an 80-20 acrylic blend, like the Wool Ease by Lion Brand. So they're similar. I think this one's just chunkier. One thing about this pattern is and again, I'm only 2 repeats in, so I might figure it out and it might get easier. But right now I can't like read the knitting and intuitively know what to knit for the next row. So all that means is that I'm continually checking the chart. I'm hopeful that I can stop looking at the chart eventually, but as of now, I have no idea what's going on. So the nice thing about it though is that like every even row is just the inverse of the odd row. So like I'll read the chart for the odd row, and then when I'm going back, so when I'm on my even rows, I'm just knitting the knits and purling the purls. So that part of it's really nice. I'm really only checking the chart for every other row, and once I've done the first repeat or 2 along the row, I'm good to go. I really have nothing to complain about. I would just like to be able to put the chart away and be like off to the races knitting. So we'll see if that happens, but even if not, like it's a nice chunky knit. Oh, this is on 8mm needles. Oh, and this is on 4mm needles. It's a lot to think about, you guys. Yeah, so that is my Harvest Throw by Two of Wands. It's really nice so far. I think this one has tassels on the end as well. So we'll see if that happens. I'll keep you posted. Maybe. Maybe not. So those are my only whips at the moment. I'm kind of trying to like clear out my whips. Anyways, I don't have a sweater on the needles right now, which I'm just kind of enjoying. I feel like it's all like I've cleared out some of the whips that I've had going on for a while. So I'm just going to kind of work on my nice chunky blanket and enjoy that for a bit. Yeah, that's it. But let's talk about some future plans. Okay, so like I said, I've got this sweater off the needles. I just did another Harlow sweater around Christmas time, and I'm kind of craving something more exciting than stockinette. So what I'm planning to do next, and I've had this yarn for a little while, so it's not like this came out of nowhere, but I have just swatched for the Madeline sweater by Pernille Larsen. So it's like one of the Knitting for Olive patterns. My God. So this is the Knitting for Olive Cotton-Merino in the color Blueberry Ice Cream. And I've never used like the Knitting for Olive Cotton-Merino before, so I'm very, very excited to knit with this. I have heard some rave reviews about it, and I think it looks really beautiful. I did mess up on this side here. I was using chart like B1 to swatch with, and I accidentally ended up moving to like the one beside it on the page. Whatever. Doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm really happy with this turned out. And if you watch other knitting podcasters and this entire concept, from the color to the yarn to the pattern, is sounding familiar, it is because I directly ripped it off from Emily at High Fiber Knits. She shared this like last spring maybe, in the color she wanted to knit it in, and I bought the yarn and bought the pattern. So thank you for the inspiration. So that is sort of my next immediate plan. My husband and I are actually talking about possibly going to Japan this year, which is something we have been wanting to do for years and years. So if that happens, I would like to have this done for that trip. We'd be going in the springtime, and I think, like, just imagine me under a cherry blossom tree in this sweater. What could be more perfect? Do you know what I mean? So that's the vision. We will see if we can execute her, but I'm very excited about this. So that is the immediate plan. Another thing that I want to do in the near future, because it is still winter, is I want to knit a cabled or textured hat. One of the yarns that I got for Christmas, so I got those Koigu paint cans for Christmas, and then the other yarn that I got for Christmas I have been wanting for a long time. This is Poppy's Pompom Land Cloud sock yarn, and it is made out of samoyed fur and is it merino or wool? Yeah, and merino and nylon. So I saw this in one of the yarn stores near me a while ago, and I have never been able to get it out of my head. So it was one of the things that I asked for Christmas, and I am so excited to use this. And I also don't want to use it at all because I just want to leave it in its big squishy skein and look at it. Yeah, so with this yarn, I'm thinking about making the, I really gotta write down these designers, please hold. So with this yarn, I want to knit the Hermione hat by Meepy the Label. Her name is Famke, and she has a YouTube channel as well that I really like. She knits some really great like textured stuff, like just different stuff. But I want to knit the Hermione hat by her. And one of the options is to do a double folded brim. The inside is stockinette and the outside is ribbed. It looks really good. It's very interesting. I think a white cabled hat would be gorgeous. So it's on the ground now. That's the plan with that. But who knows? The plan might change. I've also thought to knit like a hood or a balaclava, but I just have one skein and I don't want to run out. I want it to be like very luxe. And this was $45, so I'm not getting another skein. It's a one and done situation. So I'm thinking that hat, but we will see what happens. And then I want to knit more accessories this year. I've really just been finding it nice to like have some instant gratification projects. I think it's partially because I was so busy last year that a lot of my whips just were whips for so long, and I couldn't like get through a sweater, or I couldn't, get through whatever I was knitting. So like knitting a little Oslo hat and getting it off the needles in a week, or whatever amount of time it was. Not that it matters, but it can be really nice to just like get something off the needles and have a finished object. So I want to try to balance out some of like the garment knitting with more accessories. And I think I'm concluding that I'm not really a sock girl. I'll start a sock. Period. I won't finish it. So anyways, with the leftover Hue and Me, because I have this from my harvest throw. I'm assuming I'm not going to perfectly use it all up. I'm not gauge swatching. And then I have a bunch left over from my Moonstone plaid blanket, which is knit out of the same yarn. all in like whites, and there's like a dark gray in there, so neutral colors. I'm thinking about doing a high seas balaclava, which I think is also by Two of Wands. It's nice and chunky. Here it is. I love doing this. Nice chunky balaclava. I love the look of them. I don't think like a fingering or even a DK weight balaclava's for me. I have a very round face, and we don't need like, I don't want to look like an egg all the time. So I think like a big chunky one that kind of sits off my head a little bit will be the thing for me. So I'm thinking hat, balaclava. We'll see what happens. Okay, and then the last plan that I have, oh my gosh, I could have had my laptop on do not disturb mode this entire time. Hang on. I also just got this new laptop, which I love so much. My old focus, do not disturb. There we go. The group chat's popping off. The summer softball group chat popping off. Shout out. Wow. What was I saying? Oh, my old laptop was from 2014. So she has been with me for 10 years, and she is currently on a well-deserved rest in my closet. So this is my new laptop, and I love it so much. But anyways, the last sort of plan that I have for this winter is, if I have time, because it's almost spring in my mind, is a sibling sweater, but a very colorful sibling sweater. I don't want like white and black or white and a color, or I want like 3 or 4 different, not blocks, I still want stripes, but like 3 or 4 different really bright, like warm toned colors. I was shopping in Joe Fresh one day, which if you're Canadian, you know, it's in a grocery store. And I saw this sweater, which I was obsessed with. But every time I go shopping and see a sweater, I don't buy it because I say, I can make that. And then I don't make it. But this one I really want to make. So this is like roughly what I'm going for. But I want to do like red, yellow, like fuchsia pink or something like that. And maybe like a lilac. Okay. I'm going to rewatch this because I think that is what I want. In a sibling sweater. I love the back detail on the sibling sweater, how the increases are like aligned with the stripes. I just think it looks so neat. So sibling sweater by Laura Penrose in some sort of bright combination of colors. I'm gonna have to do some math before I go yarn shopping just to figure out like how much of each, how many stripes of each color I want to do and how much yarn that will take. I'm planning to use Double Sunday by Sandnes Garn. I've used that a couple of times. I have an Ingrid sweater and a slipover of some, it was My Favorite Things knitwear slipover, both knit in that yarn, and it is so lovely. Like, it's just soft and neutral. There's no like itch factor. You can wear it next to skin. It's just like very luxurious. So that is my plan. And I also just really like the colors that Sandnes Garn makes. So that is my plan. I have no like immediate plans to go buy this yarn. It's just kind of like next time I'm ready to make a sweater, that's what I will do. And when I inevitably need a break from my Madeline sweater, that's probably the one I'll do because it's still stockinette. It's just stripes. Like, how fun. How fun to have some color. Yeah, I'm just really sick of winter and I need some color. I need some brightness and I would like to see grass. I miss grass. So, yeah. That's about all I have. Holy moly, this is hard, man. 40 minutes of talking. Only 40 minutes. I've just been talking. I'm not a talker. I'm tired. My dog's on the couch. Look at that man. Oh, he's so pretty. Hi. Yeah, you're funny. Okay, sorry. Um, okay, so that is really all the knitting that I have to talk about, but I thought I would also add, I really like when podcasters include a little section of like what they're reading or what they're like watching or what they're listening to. So I thought I would do that. I've been flying through books this year, and I am always flying through TV shows, so I thought that would be fun. In terms of what I am reading, I just finished Onyx Storm, like everybody else in the world. Oh my god. It's crazy. It's getting crazy, you guys. I'm not going to have any spoilers because it is a brand new book. But I flew through it. It did take me a little bit to get into. Like, I was very thrown off by how like it opens up in the action. Like, there is no break. We're just like right back where we left off. So I think it took a second for me to like get back into it, even though I had just finished my reread of the audiobooks for the Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. It took me a second to get into Onyx Storm, but once I did, I couldn't be stopped. So good. So just finished that. If anyone has thoughts, please DM me on Instagram. I'm always happy to talk. I'm always happy to talk theories. I do have some. I have a couple of friends that have been reading Onyx Storm, and they also have some theories, so would be happy to share. So I just finished that, and now I'm on to the Hunger Games. So before Onyx Storm came out, I started reading the first Hunger Games book because I hadn't read it in so long, and but I know it so well that I figured I'll read it until Onyx Storm comes out, and then I'll put it down and pick it back up when I'm done. So when I finished Onyx Storm, I picked up and read the rest of the Hunger Games. It's such a quick read. When you are an adult reading Hunger Games, it's like days and you're done. So I finished that, and now I'm on to Catching Fire, which is it's so good. I forgot how good these books are, and you guys, the movies are also like, I rewatch the movies about once a year, and now that I actually have the books, like I haven't had them since I was a kid, but I found them thrifting one day. I'll probably reread them like once a year. They're so good. I just finished the part where Peeta announces that Katniss is pregnant. Like, what a bombshell, Peeta. What a bombshell to drop on everyone. It's just like, and then the way the Capitol citizens react, like to the thought of a baby going into the arena. Hello, that's what's been happening the whole time. Anyways, I'm loving that. I will read Mockingjay after that, and then I'm debating between a reread of ACOTAR or moving on to oh my god, what's it called? Throne of Glass. I've read the first one and like half of Throne of Glass, and my friends are really convincing me to read the rest of them, so I think that I will. It's just a matter of when. So I should read those next. I haven't read them. I've already read ACOTAR, so I'll probably read Throne of Glass next. But if you have any book recommendations, please let me know, because I want to read all the books. I just discovered the knitting podcast Cozy Books and Knits. I believe her name is Eleanor. She just has a few videos out, but I really like them. I really like the way she talks. I really like her view on knitting. And I think she's really great. So you should go check her out. Maybe I'll do like a little shout out at the end of each of these. I don't know. I am getting hungry, and I want to stop talking. I feel more comfortable than I did when I started this, so that's interesting. This is kind of fun. I don't know how often I would, I don't knit that fast. So I mean, I'm not making like weekly my weekly update is like, this is the same as it was. So that probably won't happen. But while I have the time, this is kind of fun. So we'll see if I keep making these, and we will see how editing this goes. If anyone is here, thank you for watching. I hope you had a good time. Bye.